Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everyone's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These market statistics are for Dayton, the surrounding Dayton Metro area for January 2023. If you watched last week, we're kind of fine-tuning things a little bit. We have new market stats reports. Sign up to get those at the link down below. You can also see I'm still kind of figuring out the lighting situation here. These are a lot brighter than they were last month. We'll see how this goes. Last month's video was a little grainy, so still trying to figure this out a little bit, and I really shouldn't probably look directly at these. So still fine-tuning things a little bit here. I do have a new light back in the back here just to try to help separate things out a little bit. So stay tuned, because that's all going to be hopefully rapidly improving. These market statistics are for January 2023. We are self-generating these statistics now and verifying them against the state issue statistics in an effort to have these out as fast as possible. Historically, we would get these out about 30 days after the month end, mainly because the state doesn't put out the official report until the 20th, 21st, 22nd. That's kind of too long to be accurate information. We made some changes, trying to get these out faster to you to get more pertinent information in your hands as quickly as possible. So we're looking at January 2023 stats compared to January 2022 stats. The reason we do not compare month to month is because the real estate market has a natural ebb and flow tied to the calendar year. So up north where there's snow, obviously not a lot of homes are going up for sale or selling in the wintertime. In Florida, things follow the school year a little bit more, although there is a little bit of a dip in December and January. So comparing month to month is not useful because there is a natural low and high point during the year. So we compare year over year to have a general indication of where the market is compared to years previously. Real estate usually doesn't move fast enough for year over year to be too bad of a metric to compare to. Of course, with the exception of the last couple years. And so that's why I've really been working to try to get statistics out. Originally, I reworked the statistics so that I could have knowledge to give to my clients, but then I was like, well, maybe I should just do that for everybody and release it with these market statistics. And we created these beautiful new reports and all that good stuff. So we're comparing January 2023 compared to January 2022. The overall trend has been kind of a little bit of a hangover from the rapid ramp up in prices. And that is reflected in these numbers here. 2022, basically everyone kind of went crazy buying houses for various reasons. Interest rates were extremely low. People were looking to make positive life changes after the pandemic. The result of that is, at that point in time, shrinking inventory and rising home prices. That metric has kind of flipped currently. Median home price has not dropped too crazily from the high point, which was June, July, August. So median sales price has not dropped too bad, but the number of homes for sale has gone up relatively significantly. So let's dive into these numbers. Alrighty, let's jump into these Dayton, Ohio numbers. So these numbers are for the Dayton Metro area and all of the surrounding counties. So it's not just Montgomery County, it's not just Greene County, it's basically the entire metro area. To get about halfway down to Cincinnati and, up past Troy and all that stuff. Total number of closed sales is down 32.3%, total of 712. January 2022, there was a total of 1,052 homes sold in the Dayton metro area. Median sales price is up 11.1% to $189,950. So everybody knows average. You take 5 houses, you take the purchase price, you add up all 5, you divide it by 5, and that gives you the average. Median sales price, a little different though. So median sales price, you would take, let's say, if there was a total of 200 homes that sold in that month, the median would be the point at which there's an equal number of homes for sale that are more expensive and less expensive. And that gives you the true, quote unquote, midpoint of the market. So median sales price is up 11.1%, total of $189,950. Median percentage of original asking price. So what this is whenever a house goes up for sale, that original asking price, what is the percentage of the actual sales price once it sells? And that's down 2.4%, total of 96.7%. Median time to sale, which is how long it takes for something to be listed and get to the closing table, is up 3.6%, total of 57 days. That's not too crazy. Total number of new listings is down 6.6%, total of 1,026 homes. The doom and gloom section here, which is short sales and foreclosures. So foreclosures were up 166.7%, which sounds bananas until you realize that there was a total of 8 for the entire Dayton Metro area in January 2023. Total number of short sales was actually down 33.3%. For a total of 2. Now, I do like to break this down by the price points because $1 million house sells on a little bit different time frame than a $250,000 house. Just the buyer pool sizes are going to be different. Across the board though, total number of closed sales is down across every price point. 50 to 100,000 was down 55.5%. Total of 57. 100 to 150,000 was down 32.2% for a total of 156. 150 to 200,000 was down 39.5%, total of 127. That's pretty much just the same story. Everything's down about a third, 20%. 20%. $300,000 to $400,000 was down 28.6%, total of 80. Even $1 million or more was down 33.3%, total of 2 closed sales in January 2023. Total number of new listings by list price, bit of a mixed bag. There's a lot of there's a lot of variability in this. 50 to 100,000 was down 30.6%. Total of 100. 100 to 150,000 though, it was up 5.2% for a total of 122. 150 to $200,000 was down 11.2% to 190. 200 to 250,000 was down 13.5% to 115. From 250 to 600 though, we don't see as big of a swing. The number of listings held relatively steady compared to January 2022. So for example, 250 to 300,000 was down 1.8%, total of 110. Like 1 or 2%, I usually put that in like margin of error versus like a trend or something to make note of. 300 to 400,000 was up 4.2%, total of 123. 400 to 600,000 is down 6.3%, total of 89. So we can see we're kind of flip-flopping back and forth there. 600 to $1 million though was up 76.5%. A total of 30, and $1 million more was up 300%, total of 12 new listings. So them's the numbers. What sort of analysis can we pull out of this? Well, the overarching trend is way more houses for sale. Houses are taking longer to sell, and there's fewer buyers buying. That is the overall trend. Anecdotally, I feel that buyer demand has picked up a little bit. I know in my own business, I've had a number of clients come in late December to January. And so those are not going to show up in these stats. Maybe the pending sales, but those were not crazy up. Overall pressure on the market is down. Interest rates are currently bouncing around like, 6.5, kind of close to 7% sometimes, but usually like 6.5 is kind of where they've been. Some people have gotten like high 5s. The thing to know, and I think what a lot of buyers have started to realize, is that historically like 4 to 7% is where the interest rate usually hangs out. So interest rates are, yes, they're within 20-year norms. They're still on the high end of stuff. But I think a lot of buyers have realized that they can now actually negotiate with sellers about things. The last couple contracts we've negotiated $10,000 and $20,000 price reductions. We've gotten repairs done. We've gotten seller concessions, some buybacks, which reduces the interest rates, like stuff that was unheard of for the previous 2 years. So that, coupled with the number of homes for sale, it is a great time to be in the market to buy a house. Yes, the interest rates are bad, but there is always going to be some roadblock or something that doesn't make it a perfect time to buy. Case in point, when interest rates were 2.25%, you had to come up with an additional $30,000 to $60,000 to above the asking price to win that house. On the sales side of things, houses are taking longer to sell, but we are still very much in a seller's market territory. And we are still at very, very, very high prices. So if you've been on the fence about selling, you need to sell now because overall pressure on the market is down. And so it's better to sell coming off the peak rather than wait for that trough, wait for that next trough. Currently, median sales price is back to January, February, March 2022 numbers, depending upon the house and the price point and configuration and stuff like that. So buyers, things are getting better and better and better. It's actually enjoyable submitting offers now, and you never really know what you're going to get, to be honest, as I told my current clients. Overall, Pressure on the market is downward trend still. Keep an eye on some metrics. Oh, here is the little hidey hole secret fact that a lot of people are missing. Median sales price has not moved that much. Time to contract has not moved that much. I mean, yeah, it's up to 30 days, but I think I believe those numbers are a bit deceptive. And the reason why is because a lot of those metrics, so median sales price, time to contract, time to sale, those metrics, which are key metrics for the market, those only actually get updated when something actually sells. And we have twice as many homes for sale than we do last year, which means there is a lot of homes that have been sitting on the market for a while. And the houses that have been sitting for a long period of time, those are not factored into the median sales price, average sales price, or time to contract metrics. So when all of those finally start selling, if ever, I mean, they don't necessarily have to sell, they can always just expire and go away. So, but if those start selling, we're gonna see that, especially that time to contract number is going to start skyrocketing, which kind of already is. So far as the numbers go, we're still very much kind of on the seller's market side. And so far as buying goes, if you're looking for a house, like a great house, great location, that's fully renovated with, you know, like three or four bedrooms and 2 or 3 bathrooms and garage with a pool, that is always going to be high demand. And there are still multiple offer situations on houses with that. But there's a lot of houses out there that are getting no interest at all, and we can really negotiate a price on it. And like I said, for sellers, if you've been thinking about selling, it's better to sell on the down shoulder than at the bottom trough, because overall pressure on the market is still downwards. That's basically the read on the stats and kind of what's going on. Personally, what I've been experiencing in my business. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in today, checking out these market stats. I try to put these out every month. And like I said, we are trying to shorten up the time frame on this. The market stats are not actually, the state stats are not released until the 20th. My goal is to eventually get this video into your hands by like the 7th, 8th, or 9th. And then the actual stats that we've generated, we do have those in hand by the 5th or 6th. And the reason we can't do it earlier is because there's a few rules in the MLS and agents are kind of lazy. So they actually have like 5 days to update their sales stats, which means that we shouldn't really pull stats until the 5th day of the month. But again, those are the fine details that I worry about so I can bring you great information. So thanks for watching today. If you would like help finding your own great place in the Dayton Metro area, if you're looking in Springboro or Hugh Heights, Dayton itself, Oakwood perchance, or Xenia, one of my favorite places, Washington Township, Liberty Township, any place in the Dayton Metro area, I would be happy to help you find your home, or if you're thinking about selling, I'd be happy to help you sell your home. Thanks for tuning in. You can reach me. My business line number is 937-907-6777. There's also a contact record and a place to schedule a call with me down below if you'd like some questions answered. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to be doing office hours. Ask a realtor anything. Question and answer session. Going to try to be doing that once every week or two. So be sure to subscribe to this channel or sign up for the newsletter or whatever, and I'll make sure that you get that link. Should be shooting for Thursday currently. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.